Namaste. Hello everyone. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to go live today, like I said on the post, with all of you and read a little bit from this beautiful book that I got, Gaudiya Patati. I actually studied most of this in Gurukul, in the school that I went to, that I spoke to you guys about. And I just wanted to read, answer your questions, go live. I really liked going live last time, and so I thought maybe it would be cool to go live again and see what comes out of it. Okay, perfect. Hare Krishna, thank you for coming, for joining. Alright, like I said, we will be reading from the book. It's an interesting book. I don't have the soft copy. If I had a soft copy, I would share it with all of you, but I don't. So you're gonna have to go and listen to the live videos or live podcasts, the live streams that we're doing to figure that out. So let's start with invocation prayer to get the blessings of the Lord, to get the blessings of our spiritual masters, so that we can understand this knowledge, this Vedic divine knowledge, and have a good session, learn something. I'm interested actually in going through this book. I wanted to read it myself, but then I thought maybe if I go online, then it would be nice for all of you as well to read something, to answer your questions, comments, and all these other things. So hope you're cool with that plan. Harihi Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadidamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Alright, we chanted the invocation prayers. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you for commenting. Please comment whatever you want. I mean, let's keep it devotional and on subject, but if you have any questions, you can comment. I will be able to see them. I'm looking through my computer. And like I said, we're going through this beautiful book, Gaudiya Patati, and it's not just for yagas, it's many mantras that you can use for manasa puja, for preparing your mind for preparation of the puja that you're performing, havan, just for meditation, all these things. You can use some of these mantras. They're not all mantras that need to be chanted with a pavitra or upavita or jenu, how you also call it probably. Not all the mantras here must be chanted after initiation. Some of them can be chanted without initiation. So Sri Suktas, a question from Akshat said, can anyone chant Sri Suktam or Brahman initiation required? So for Sri Sukta, Brahman initiation is actually required because it's a Vedic mantra. Now for the invocation mantra that we chanted, it's not exactly a Vedic mantra, so anyone can chant it, anyone can learn it. Maha mantra anyone can learn, and so yes. But if you have Brahman initiation, you can chant it. Alright, so I'll start with the acknowledgement, who wrote this book and for who it was. We're very thankful to Pridivardhan Swami for his guidance and support, to Vagisha Prabhu and those who helped publishing Satkriya Saradipika, from which we're making this manual, and to our team members, Krishna Chaitanya Das, Haladar Das, Narottam Vilas Das, Ajitananda Das, Vedanta Das, Goparaj Gopinath Das, and Nimai Das for their valuable contribution. So this is actually a book that is compiled from a different book, which is called Satkriya Saradipika. It's a Vedic book which talks about the samskaras, the different mantras that are there, and this book was compiled for the purpose of doing yajnas and doing other things. So yes, it's quite a long publisher's note. I guess we'll read it. In the Satkriya Saradipika, the Gaudiya Vaishnava Samritacharya Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami gives detailed description of the ritual for performance of fire sacrifices and samskaras according to the Vaishnava Smriti. The principle of Yagya Vidhi is presented in this book and are standard for deity installation, festivals and samskaras. So basically, this is a book in Satkriya Saradipika, which this is a part of. It's talking about deity installation, home puja, deity worship, yagyas, everything that has to do with worshipping the Lord in a form of a deity or a form of a fire is written. Some of it is written, of course not everything. Everything is written in the Vedas, but some of it is written right here. Another question from Akshat said, can anyone pronounce Kamabija Klim or Brahmanish C? So, from my understanding and what I learned from my teachers, the Bija Klim should, because it's part of the Gayatri Mantra, which is sacred. Now everybody on speakers, on Kali Puja, Durga Puja, Ganesh Puja, everybody plays Brahma Gayatri, Kama Gayatri, Gopal Gayatri, but that's actually not proper. Gayatri is given from Guru's mouth to your right ear. When you're getting initiation, you get the Gayatri Mantra. And so that way you get it and you're supposed to chant it quietly. You put your Brahman thread around your thumb, right thumb, then you cover it, and then you chant the Gayatri mantras that you've heard from your spiritual master's mouth, which he heard from his spiritual master's mouth, and that way through parampara. Then in that way you're actually supposed to chant it. It shouldn't be played on speakers. And the power of it is when you're chanting it daily. So just hearing it, just saying it, I mean, I guess no one's gonna stop you now if you say it, but technically speaking, you should be initiated. Let's continue. Srimad Bhagavatam 8:23-16 explains the importance of understanding the ritual of deity worship as always being subservient to chanting the holy name of the Lord. So we understand that deity worship, or worshipping the deity form, or doing havan, is not as important in this Kali Yuga as chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So let's chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra one time together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is the Yuga Dharma. Chanting of the Mahamantra is the most important. But because we cannot only chant, then we perform deity worship, we perform puja, we perform havan, we do other things. And that is okay, that is fine, that is written here, that it's fine to do that. So purport, in Kali Yuga, the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies cannot be performed as perfectly as before. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami has recommended that although one should take care to follow all the principles in every kind of spiritual activity, especially in worship of the deity, there is still a chance of discrepancies, and one should compensate for this by chanting the holy name of the Lord, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we therefore give special stress to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra in all our activities. So this is the whole point, that, and this is a very important point, that we're not qualified brahmanas, even if we're born in Brahminical family, even if we have the Upavita, even if we chant our Gayatri, still we don't have as much qualification as brahmanas in Dvapara Yuga, in Treta Yuga, or in Satya Yuga. Their where they were more qualified, and it says that we should do deity worship, we should do all those things, but what we should also do, and do included in all of those, is chant the Mahamantra. That is the whole point. So we hope that the Vaishnava community will be pleased with our humble attempt at presenting Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami's work Satkriya Saradipika, which includes the Goswami's introduction and description of the preliminary rituals of fire sacrifice, as well as the purificatory rituals of those in the householder ashram. So these samskaras are actually meant for grihastas. So brahmachari and sannyasis, they don't actually need any samskaras, and they should not, their only goal is to follow, be there in the temple, or travel and preach, or do bhajan, or do kirtan, anything else. All this is for those who are married, who have children, and who are working jobs and doing other things. So this is for us, for all of us, I think. There's another question. Can anyone pronounce? Okay. Can we perform any special puja so I can get initiated from my spiritual master ASAP? You have to ask your spiritual master for that. There's no really puja for performing to get initiated. You should be sincere, you should be ready for initiation. It is something very sacred and very important. So once you're ready, if your spiritual master understands and sees that, and you're able to show that you're ready for initiation, then he will give it to you. Thank you. Rohan, America, great. Jai Nisima. Jai Nisima. So Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami explains the purpose of writing the book Satkriya Saradipika in his introductory verse as follows. So why he wrote this book, we're going to understand now. Offering obeisances to Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss, who is worshipped by the whole world, who is the supreme Lord and controller of the universe, who is situated in supreme bliss, and who is the bestower of the desired goal to the unalloyed devotees. I, Gopal Bhatta, having received the order from a saintly exalted devotee, present a manual on Vedic samskaras called Satkriya Saradipika, essential practices for uplifting the soul for the householder devotees, especially the unalloyed devotees, to preserve the principles of the highest religion, the devotional service based on the Vedic principles. So this is the point. It's to help us become more pure, become better devotees, and follow these samskaras, follow all the rules, perform all the things that are written in these divine books that are written by our acharyas, so that we can elevate our consciousness and become better people, better devotees, better human beings, and that way make the world a better place and eventually go back to God. It is clear from the text that the purpose and the mood of performing the samskara by the Vaishnavas is different from the ritualistic ceremonies performed by karmakandis. However, some may say, what is the need of performing these samskaras when the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is potent to deliver us from all sins and bestows us love for the Supreme Lord? But our Sampradaya Acharya stressed the importance of performing other activities of devotional service simultaneously along with the chanting of the holy names, as they help in rectifying our material conditions and thus awakening the Krishna consciousness soon, as explained by Srila Prabhupada in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 1508 purport, in his quotes, in which he quotes Jiva Goswami. So, again, what is the point of all this? The point is to help us. We're performing deity worship, we're chanting Vedic mantras, we're performing mantra sadhana, we're trying to make our consciousness more pure so that we're able to elevate it and then become better. In the Srimad Bhagavatam's opinion, that process of deity worship is not actually necessary, just as the specific perceptions of the Pancharatra and other scriptures do not have to be followed. The Bhagavatam enjoins that even without I think I'm gonna sit a little higher so I can see better. I hope that's good. Where were we? The Bhagavatam enjoins that even without practicing deity worship, one can achieve the complete success of human life by any of the other devotional processes, such as simply offering oneself at the lotus feet for his protection. Nonetheless, Vaishnavas following the path of Sri Narada and his successors endeavor to establish a personal relationship with the Lord by receiving the grace of a bona fide spiritual master through initiation, and in this tradition the devotees are obliged at the time of initiation to begin engaging in deity worship. So the point is that we're able to perform these samskaras, we're able to, once we're initiated, we're able to do devotional service, and these are many ways that we're able to serve the Lord. When we're lighting the sacred fire in the havan or in the yajna, then we're inviting the Lord, we're praying to Him, we're doing many offerings to the Lord, and that way we're serving the Lord, and He becomes pleased and He gives us His blessings. So this is the whole point of whatever we're doing, to please the Lord. Although deity worship is not essential, the material conditioning of most candidates for devotional service requires that they engage in this activity. So you don't have to do this. No one is saying here, the acharyas, our spiritual masters, no one is saying that you have to do this. The idea is that you're able to do it. You're able to do it to help yourself. Because if you're just sitting and meditating in the forest, the leaf from the tree falls, moves, you see it, you get distracted. Something happens, you get distracted. Someone walks by, you get distracted. So the whole point is to engage our senses, engage ourselves in this service, in the performing of mantra sadhana. When we're chanting mantras, we're meditating, we're hearing, we're saying, and that way we're able to actually concentrate better. So that is the point. When we consider their bodily and mental conditions, we find that the character of such candidates is impure and their minds are agitated. So most people are impure, and most people's minds are always running around, scrolling social media, looking here, looking there, following someone on Instagram, liking, commenting, so many things, which are good, but it's very hard to focus. Therefore, to rectify this material conditioning, the great sage Narada and others have different times recommended various kinds of regulations for deity worship. So, to be able to concentrate the mind, we perform deity worship. We see the deity form, we do service to that deity form, and that way we're actually able to, focus ourselves. Because when we're doing something, like when you're listening, or when you're dressing the deity, or when you're thinking about him, or when you're doing the puja to the deity, you're focused on the deity. Or when someone is doing it in the temple and you came to see, you're focused on the deity, and that way your consciousness gets pulled to the Lord. That is the idea. Similarly, in the Ramarchana Chandrika states, Vainaiva diksham viprendra purascharyam vanaivahi vanaiva nyasa didina japa mantrena siddhida. O best of the Brahmanas, even without initiation, preliminary purification, or acceptance of the renounced order, one can attain perfection in devotional service simply by chanting the Lord's holy name. So for chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and different other mantras which are not in the Vedas, you can get everything that you need. Now, why are we talking about that here? Because that is the truth, that is how it works. But, like we said, we want to worship the deity, we want to perform havan, we want to chant mantras, different mantras, so our mind can concentrate on them. If you guys have any questions, you can leave them in the chat. Through my computer, I'm looking at the chat. So you can check it out. You can like this stream if you're liking it. If you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe, so I feel a little bit more encouraged to continue doing this reading with all of you, even though I like to do it anyway, but I thought to share it with all of you guys. In other words, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is so powerful that it does not depend on the official initiation. But if one is initiated and engaged in the Pancharatrika Vidhi, which means deity worship, his Krishna consciousness will awaken very soon. in his identification with the material world will be vanquished. The more one is freed from the material identification, the more one can realize that the spirit soul is qualitatively as good as the supreme soul. At such a time, when one is situated on the absolute platform, one can understand that the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself are identical. Srila Prabhupada, in his purport to Srimad Bhagavatam, also stresses that the process of Archana is highly recommended, especially for Grihastas. So why is it highly recommended? Because Grihastas are people who are living in their house, Griha, in their Griha, which means house. They're performing many activities, and some activities are beneficial and some activities are not so beneficial. So to focus our mind on the beneficial activities, we try to perform deity worship, mantra sadhana, havan, and all these other things. There are many books for Archana, especially in Arda Pancharatra. In this age, the Pancharatra system is particularly recommended for Archana, deity worship. There are two systems of Archana, the Bhagavata system and the Pancharatrika system. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is no recommendation of the Pancharatrika worship because in this Kali Yuga, even without deity worship, everything can be perfectly performed simply through hearing, chanting, remembering, and worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord, Rupa Goswami states. So this is a very beautiful, beautiful verse. It's one of my favorite verses in the whole Upadesh Nectar of Devotion book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It's a beautiful book by one of our acharyas, Rupa Goswami. So listen to it carefully, and let's see if you understand. Shri Vishnu Shravane Parikshita Vavat Vayasakir Kirtane Prahlada Smarane Tadangni Bhajane Lakshmi Prituh Pujane Akrurastu Vivandane Kapipatir Dasye Dasakyar Junaha Sarva Svatma Nivedane Palirabhut Krishna Tiresham Param. So this verse is saying which personality got Krishna's mercy or liberation by performing which anga or which what is it called, limb of devotional service. So there's many different types. You can listen, you can hear, you can chant, you can remember, and all these other things. So now we'll read who got liberation by doing what. So Parikshit Maharaj attained salvation by simply hearing. So he was listening to the Srimad Bhagavatam spoken by his spiritual master Shukadeva Goswami, like we're speaking here and you're listening. That way you get a lot of benefit. And Shukadeva Goswami attained salvation simply by chanting. So Parikshit, the disciple, got liberation through listening, and Shukadeva Goswami got liberation by hearing. So both of them got liberation, which is very, very good. Prahlad Maharaj, I'm sure all of you know who Prahlad Maharaj is. Prahlad Maharaj is the son of a great demon Hiranyakashipu and great devotee of Lord Nrsimha. He attained salvation by remembering the Lord. He was always remembering the Lord, and because he was always remembering the Lord, then he was able to get liberation, and his father Hiranyakashipu could never hurt him. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, attained perfection by worshipping the Lord's lotus feet. Lakshmi Devi, she's always there doing massage to Lord Vishnu's lotus feet, and she attained salvation by doing that service. Prithu Maharaj got salvation by worshipping the deity of the Lord. So Prithu Maharaj is actually a form of the Lord, but he came to this world and showed how you can get liberation, get salvation by worshipping the deity here, the deity of the Lord. Akrura attained salvation by offering prayers. Hanuman, so Akrura was the person that went and took Krishna from Vrindavan to Mathura, to Dwarka, and other places, and he attained salvation by simply praying. And Hanuman by rendering service. I'm sure all of you know who Bajrangbali Hanuman is. He's the greatest devotee of Lord Ram, and he is the best of the devotees. He is the form of dasya, or of service, and he attained liberation by doing that. Arjuna, by establishing friendship with the Lord, so Arjuna became a friend of Krishna, and that way he got liberation. He heard the Bhagavad Gita. In the Mahabharata story, it's written there how he is a good friend of Krishna and how Krishna saved him, and yeah, that way he got freed. And Bali Maharaj, by offering everything to the service of the Lord. And Bali Maharaj, he surrendered everything he had, his kingdom, everything that he had, he surrendered to the Lord, and that's how he attained liberation. Alright, we have a question. Namaste Ji, I am getting feared always, any mantra? Please suggest me, I am unable to get out and speak with others. Fear. Interesting, but what kind of fear is it? If you chant mantra, very powerful mantra, I'm chanting this mantra every day now, till Janmashtami, you can chant a very powerful mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This mantra helps actually all the problems that we have in our mind, all the stress, and everything that, you know, the problems that we're having, maybe some fear and all these other things. If we're chanting this mantra, if we sit in a quiet place, we're able to meditate and focus on this mantra, then this mantra can help get rid of your problems. So you can try chanting. Thank you for joining, for commenting. Appreciate it. All these great devotees served the Lord according to a particular process, but every one of them attained salvation and became eligible to return home back to Godhead. This is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is therefore recommended that initiated devotees follow the principles of Narada Pancharatra by worshipping the deity in the temple, especially for householder devotees who are opulent in material possessions. The path of deity worship is strongly recommended. So that is the point. We're working, we're making money, we're doing all these things, we're trying to enjoy. We should also use that money, we should give charity. That is very important for a grihastha, for a person who is a householder, a person who has children, who has a wife. He should work, he should maintain the children, the wife, himself, the parents if they need help. But the extra money that he has, something, I'm sure Indian people, I really like the culture of always saving and doing charity. It is very important to give some charity to the temple, whether you are Sikh, whether you are Hindu, whether you are worshipping this deity or you go to this temple, give some charity. It is excuse me, I said the answer. If you are not listening to the live stream, that's a different problem. I cannot message you. I am on the live stream. Alright. I told you, you can chant this mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Try to chant this mantra. It should help you. It doesn't work like magic, but if you do it over a long period of time, it should help. So an opulent householder devotee who does not engage his hard-earned money in the service of the Lord is called a miser. So you are called kanjus if you're not giving any donation. Of course, we're working hard, we're trying to make some money, we're doing that, we're taking care of our family, but we should give some charity. That is part of our dharma. To follow the Sanatana Dharma, you should do those things. So everyone should do it. I try to do it myself, even though I'm getting a donation from performing yajnas for chanting mantras. I live of donations, and that also, every brahmana or a person that is a grihastha or that is doing some devotional service, he should also give something back. So I'm getting something, God is giving me some money, God is giving me some facility, I should try to give that back to the people, to the community, to the temple, to those who need it. We try to distribute many things, rice, we try to cook some prasad and give it out to the poor people in the village who need it, who need that help. So it's good to do. It makes you feel better, and it's also very dharmic. One should not engage pay the brahmanas to worship the deity. If one does not personally worship the deity, but engages paid service instead, he is considered lazy, and his worship of the deity is called artificial. An opulent householder can collect luxurious paraphernalia for deity worship, and consequently, for householder devotees, the worship of the deity is compulsory. In our Krishna consciousness movement, there are brahmacharis, grihasthas, vanaprasthas, and sannyasis, but the